I told you guys that Steve Lappa died on Friday. Most of you have no idea who that is. That's okay. Lappa was the guy that gave me my very last opportunity. If not for Steve Lappa, there never would have been a Chad Lopez or a 77 WABC. When I was done, it was over. I ran out of places to work. WFAN in New York, 790 The Ticket in Florida, 560 WQAM in Florida. There was little 640 Sports in Pompano Beach. And Lappa was a fan of mine for years, from my Imus days. And he was like, wow, I'm going to get a New York talent for like 50 cents on the dollar to work in Pompano. So he was smart, but he was a good man. He loved me. He knew my talent. Now, we fought plenty because he wanted me to do straight sports like Joe Rose. And I'm like, no. I became friendly with Joyce Kaufman. Joyce is the best news talkie in South Florida. Has been maybe forever. And she was at my sister station, 850, and her and I became friendly. She's a former New Yorker, loved the Knicks, all the sports stuff, you know. And I was trying to get into politics. I would do her show, she'd do my show. And after a big Dolphins Bill game, I was talking about Mitt Romney and Barack Obama, and Lappa was furious. And he said, you don't order Chinese food in an Italian restaurant. I said, well, guess what? I'm Sam's Club. I'm Costco. You get everything with me. If you don't want that, go hire one of these dummy sports guys. Hop on, go at it. Hire one of these former Miami Dolphins. And they'll talk about the Dolphins all day long. And he trusted me, and it worked out. But he died on Friday, and it really did make me sad, as it did my next guest, the aforementioned great Joyce Kaufman. Joyce, good Monday morning, sweetheart. How are you?
I'm doing good, but you forgot a part of that story, Sid, and that was when Lappa came to me and said, what do you think? If I hire Sid Rosenberg, can you keep him in line?
Is that true?
And I said, oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
And I said, oh, I absolutely will do my best because we could use some talent around this place. You know, I'm really sick and tired of being the only person worth listening to. And,
True.
you know, I adore you, Sid. I think you're probably the most talented guy I've ever worked with.
Oh, my God. I feel the same way about you. And I tell everybody my entry into this whole thing was because of you. I mean, here you were and still are the biggest talkie in South Florida. You have a big-time show, and you trusted me, whether we talked about, like I said, the Obama-Romney days or any one of those, even that debate at Lynn University when you allowed me to come on your show. And it was a big deal for me that you trusted me like that. So there's a lot of people that have helped me get to where I am, and, of course, God and my family. But you're right there at the very top of the list. I'll always love you for that.
No, and I'll always love you because I have a great ear for talent and brains, and you have the combination. You also can be a real big pain in the butt.
Yes.
But, you know, that goes with the territory.
That is true. And I imagine that most of us that are really good at what we do are probably like that at times. I think all of us are, actually. But that's all part of the deal. But when I heard that he passed away on Friday, and he was a guy that gave a lot of people second chances. Some people didn't deserve them, quite frankly, based on talent and attitude. But he was quick to give a bunch of people second chances.
Yeah, I'm one of them. And he also, my relationship with him was very intense. It was a love-hate relationship. He was either firing me or hiring me at all times. And, you know, he just respected talent. And I think he was a frustrated talent himself.
Yes.
Who never had a real chance. So when he'd get close to someone like you or I, he'd live vicariously, and he'd give us a lot of rope. Man, I almost hung myself a few times, as you know.
No, but what was great was he would say in the office, he'd go, again, we're talking about Steve Lappa died on Friday. Most of you people in New York don't know who he is, but just trust me and Joyce on the phone together right now, he gave us both tremendous opportunities to get where we are today. But he would say to me, he goes, you see, Joyce, you know, when Joyce is out there with shoes, he had that shoe story every time. I got 1,000 times with the shoes. Joyce is out there with the shoes. He goes, that's how you do it. I know you're a big deal at Imus before, but you're starting from scratch. You know the shoe story with Joyce? He would bring you up every time we had a meeting in his office. And I was glad because I loved you anyway. I never got mad or angry or jealous because I think you're phenomenal. But he always brought you up as the barometer for success in South Florida.
Well, that's great. I always bring up Danielle as the barometer for great marriages because what that woman put up with is really
it's a lot. I know. I know.
Happy anniversary, by the way.
Thank you. 32 years last Tuesday. I'll tell you a funny story. So we're in the audience last night at Trump's golf course for Lara and Eric. And Eric gets up to speak. He's introduced by a local congressman out of Rockland County, this guy Mike Lawler. And Eric goes, I want to thank everybody in the crowd. He goes, especially Sid, who it just turns out happens to be Lara's second husband. This is what he says in front of the whole crowd. Because Lara and I we've gotten close. And he goes, you know what? In fact, there were days where I think Sid is actually Lara's first husband. So he was down with me about an hour ago. He repeated the same thing he said to me yesterday. In fact, if you've got a credit card, you could have her. Just like that. And Danielle was there. She's got a good sense of humor. Thank God she laughed it off. But Danielle and I now married for 32 years. How about that, Joyce?
Believe me, every day when I think about that, I aspire to be just even a tenth of sincere and devoted and loyal as Danielle. She's a great lady. She has been. She's been a rock for me. She really, really has. So let's get to our friend. We watched it Thursday night. The whole world watched it, and I have to tell you that I said this a couple of times this morning, Joyce. That the debate is one thing. It was a 90-minute made-for-TV show, and Biden clearly failed. But if Biden had been a really good president, and he had a bad night on Thursday night, say, okay, he's failing. Maybe he's had enough, but at least he's been good. I have very little issue with his performance on Thursday compared to what he's done to this country and the world the last 3 years. Why are we so stuck on Thursday when the truth is that means nothing compared to the damage he's caused the last 3 years? Well, I'll tell you why. Because I think forward, not past. And whatever damage he's done, we can remedy that. But all I could see while watching that debate was him sitting in a meeting with Vladimir Putin or Kim Jong-un or Chairman Xi and doing what he was doing on that stage, knowing that his whole future really rested on his performance. He couldn't get it together enough to just come across as cogent or coherent. So I was in terror because I thought the world is watching this, and these megalomaniac, tyrannical guys all over the world are going, we have 5 months to do whatever it is we're going to do, because once Donald Trump gets back in there, it's game over.
The Democrats, they're sore losers, too. So instead of just saying, our guy was awful on Thursday, and lots of them have said that, right? They've had these emergency meetings. Raskin said it. Obama said it. But they always got to find a way to take a shot at Trump. So I must tell you, I read a lot of stuff and watched a lot of stuff. But the week I go, listen, Biden was awful. No doubt about it. But I got to tell you, Trump lied the whole night. He's a liar. He's no good either. So, do we chalk it up to one bad night? Because he's really been a great president for 3 years, Biden. Do we chalk it up to one bad night and give the presidency to this liar? In the meantime, if one guy lied on Thursday, it was Biden. Every answer was a lie. Every one.
Yeah. And the beauty of this is the Democrats know they're losing their base because all the African Americans and Hispanics saw at that debate was an old white guy who really couldn't keep it together for 90 minutes. And then they look at Trump and they go, this guy's big time. We like this guy. We're going to vote for him. And that really is the story behind that debate.
You're right about that. So do you think then, because we keep hearing this, that African Americans are in bigger numbers going to vote for Trump, Latinos too. So you really believe that's the case?
I do. And women too, because they always say, he has a problem with women and suburban women. Let me tell you something about suburban women, of which I am one. We like power, we like strength, we like confidence, and we see that in Donald Trump. And we don't have to tell you we're voting for him. We're just going to go in the booth and do it.
So tell me this. African Americans, great. Latinos, great women. There's one group of people, and I know you're aware of what I've done since October the 7th. I've gone to Israel. I'm going back again for the 1-year commemoration this October the 7th. I've had discussions with big people in Israel. I've won awards here in New York for what I've done over the last year. I actually helped a guy on a train who was an Orthodox Jew who was being attacked by an African-American guy and stopped that. I've done a heck of a lot. And I can't seem to figure out why Jewish people, and I know they've done it for years. Great. That's the only thing they've done. Why do Jewish people vote for Democrats? Joe Biden has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt he's anything but pro-Israel. So we're going to get black people. We're going to get Latinos. We're going to get women. What about Jews?
Thank goodness they're only a small percentage of American voters. That's all I can say. And the tribe has lost their minds. They're still voting for Franklin Delano Roosevelt. They still walk around wearing John F. Kennedy T-shirts. I don't know what they think is going on, but there hasn't been a Democrat who represented the interests of Israel or the Jews in my lifetime. How about that? So, we've just chalked them off. We used to have to chalk everybody off. Now it's really just the tribe.
I think you're right. They're the ones that are the biggest issue. And I go all the way back. I'll give you credit because in 2015, I was still in Florida, and I was scratching and clawing at the notion of Trump, and I badmouthed him. I said, this is about the most sophomoric campaign I've ever seen. He's going to build a wall, wear a hat, nickname his opponents. This is ridiculous. Obama just destroyed the world. This is the best we can do. And then it took me, of course, 4 months after he won to come to the realization how great he was. But along with my late, great partner, Bernard, you were there from the beginning. You were telling me in Florida when I still lived in Boca in 2015, this is the guy. You've been there, Joyce, for 9 years. You knew it from day one. I got to give you credit.
Yeah, well, remind them of that because now the Trump people will only go on nationally syndicated or New York shows like yours. And they forgot that it was little hosts all around the country in markets that were second and third tier that propelled him to the White House because we gave him a voice. So remind them.
Wait, so you've reached out to Trump and he said no to you? His people.
They won't even take calls. Yeah, they won't even take calls from the small guys anymore. I get it, But remember, you should always dance with the one who brought you.
I agree with you. And again, you were really adamant that he was you loved him in 2015. You annoyed me, to be honest. So I'm going to make sure he knows that.
I loved him in 2010 when he did an event in Boca. And I told him, you need to run for president. He said, it's not my time. And I said, well, when it is your time, please let me know, which he did. And then I was sold out. I remained sold out. There's many things I could say that aren't perfect about Donald Trump, but he is the only thing standing between us and becoming a legitimate third world banana republic. So whatever he does and whatever he says, I got his back.
Get in your car in Fort Lauderdale and drive to Mar-a-Lago and stand outside the gate and set yourself on fire, and you'll get on the show.
Okay. You know what? Sometimes the proof of loyalty, and Danielle taught me this,
yes,
is not that you are appreciated by the person you're being loyal to, but it's that you do what's right. I think Donald Trump makes the greatest president. It doesn't matter to me whether he knows my name or not.
Oh, my God, that is so well said. This is why, folks, Joyce Kaufman is one of the all-time greats. Before I let you go, hey, Noam, put Noam's mic on. Because Noam Layton, I don't know if you remember Noam, but when I was coming back because of you and Lappa, and I don't know if you remember this epic dinner we had one night with Geraldo Rivera and Ann Coulter and Jose Baez. But Noam's news guy, Geraldo's news guy was a guy named Noam Layton. And when he found out you were coming on today, he was very excited. Noam, say hello.
Hey, how are you, Joyce? I've been listening to you for years.
Oh, listen, you're the one. I knew one day I would get to meet him. Amen.
Do you remember him, a little bald guy, Geraldo's news guy?
I sure do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a great memory for people who are within my circle in this business because they come and go so quickly.
And do you remember how good-looking I was?
That I don't remember.
Yeah, well, then you know what? Then you absolutely know him. Hey, listen, it's great to catch up with you. And
always.
When Lappa died, it just reminded me, not that I need to be reminded, what a huge, huge part of my life and my radio career, my life, above and beyond that. Recovery, Danielle, you've been for the last decade and more. So thank you very much. I really do love you.
Love you, Sid. We'll talk soon.